Beware the stare of Mary Kate. She had no children, only Freddy's. So cute.
That was dope. Oh my god.
Welcome to Terrorpy. I am Bloody Mary. This is Freddy the 13th. You're emotional already.
Yeah, that got me real good. I was like, damn, I love Dead Silence.
I've been rehearsing that in the mirror.
Dude, you're gonna have demons coming after us.
That's what I was thinking. I was cleaning the haunted house and kept repeating that over and over again. And I was like, she's coming around the corner. She's going to come get me for sure.
Well, mostly you're just like, please take me out of this place.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Freddy? How's your week?
This week, it's been some emotional stuff. We had our 4th of July recently. We got to spend together, which I had plans. I usually have plans with like several people that I get to do stuff with, but like had a lot of people moving away, a lot of people passing away. So like those plans kind of tend to change, and it's kind of like acclimating yourself to new beginnings and new things, and hopefully new celebrations coming.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we had a good time for 4th of July.
We had a great time.
Yeah. We got drunk, watched horror movies. What else you want in life?
Yeah.
You know? How are you feeling, Mary?
I'm okay. I've had a lot of anxiety recently. Like, probably peak anxiety. For no reason. Yeah, peak anxiety, for sure.
You know, okay, so I feel like this kind of goes with the subject we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, like, so we're in Texas, obviously, and I feel like there's seasonal depression, and I heard somewhere that for Texas, seasonal depression is the summer.
Yeah.
Because it's so hot. Mm-hmm. Like, we're in the triple digits right now. It's getting to the point where, like, I go to work really early in the morning. I'm leaving at, like, 5:30 in the morning to go to work. And I'm walking down the street. Dude, this is, like, death. I am feeling, like, Satan's scrotum on me at 5:30 in the morning. Then by the time I'm coming home at, like, 12:31, it is scorching, glaring hot. And I just want to dive into some water. I dive in Jaws water right now. And I'd be like, just take me. At least it's cold in here. Jesus.
That goes on theme with what we were doing on 4th of July. We had a full ocean theme.
Yeah,
I guess.
Underwater terror.
Yeah.
Which that's like a whole subgenre is aquatic horror.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can go like with the animal attack, shark attack style. You have like stuff like Humanoids from the Deep, which that's a great summer movie by Roger Corman, his company. And you also have like just the movies of like Ghosts at Sea, like Ghost Ship, which that has like one of the best openings ever.
I've only seen the opening. I've never seen the actual movie.
Actually quite like Ghost Ship, and I know like there's this like time frame in the 90s, and it was like Dark Castle was coming around and making like remakes of House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts, and it was like their comeback. Ghost Ship was like one of their original stories, and so you got that opening scene where they're out at sea and everyone gets like massacred, and it's fucking epic. And the rest of the movie happens. And most people are like, eh.
Hold on, is 13 Ghosts a remake?
Yeah. 13 Ghosts is
I did not know that.
13 Ghosts is a Vincent Price movie. I think it's Vincent Price. I could be wrong. Correct me, audience, if I'm wrong. It goes along with those William Castle movies back in the day, where 13 Ghosts, I believe, was like 3D. I think it's either that one or House on Haunted Hill, where William Castle had like skeletons coming at you in the audience as you're watching the movie. His whole thing was gimmicks. Like, he would have stuff in the theater coming at you and, like, attacking you while you watch the movie.
Do you think it's as good? Like, I've only seen
the original or the remake?
I guess I've only seen the remake. I like the hot/boob girl.
Oh, with the giant fake titties?
Yes.
Those are insane, dude. Those are like, oh my God.
Oh, and the girl with the cage?
Oh my God. All the ghosts are dope.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing too, is I think you had K&B Effects Group. Oscar winners, by the way. Greg Nicotero, who like showruns Walking Dead. Robert Kurtzman, who's like right now he does all of Kevin Smith's horror movies. Then you have Howard Berger. I mean, he's done a ton of stuff as well. And they won an Oscar for Chronicles of Narnia back in the day. That's their Oscar winning movie. They did all the effects for that.
That's wild.
So those giant ass like fucking minotaurs and shit, that was all them. So back in the 90s, that was like their time period, because they came up as kids in the 80s under like Tom Savini, and they're getting tutored by like all these badass like different effects companies. And so they formed their own in the late 80s and did smaller stuff. And then by the 90s, they were like everywhere doing everything. They also made, in my opinion, with Robert Kurtzman breaking off and becoming a director, they made what I consider the Expendables of horror, fucking Wishmaster. Every single person in that movie is someone that he has worked with in his career, from like Evil Dead, Phantasm, all kinds of shit. Robert Englund's up in that movie. Freddy Krueger is just some random cameo up in that movie. It's fucking dope.
That's wild.
Yeah, so like 13 Ghosts, personally, I don't know if I enjoy like House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts as much outside of the remakes, because I think the remakes are quite awesome, but I'm also like a bitch for 90s horror. Like that's an underrated gem. We need to do a fucking 90s horror episode.
For sure.
But yeah, I quite like it a lot. So I would highly recommend checking out the originals just to see how different they are. Because they're very, like, button up, like, sure, like 13 Ghosts. And this one's all, like, fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, like, man, we're all screwed! Ah! And I'm like, let's go, dog.
All right, Freddy. Given your week, what movie would you slap a title on?
It's interesting because, like, I want to talk about slashers in general. Because I had, recently this week, I had to visit a friend who we thought was dying of cancer. And he miraculously came out of it. Like, he was getting his last rites read. The doctors were telling him it's over. We thought we were saying goodbye to him. And literally, like, out of nowhere. This motherfucker loves horror movies. He loves slasher movies, especially 80s movies. Just out of sheer will. He, like, came out the other end, and now he is gonna go back to chemo, and he has a chance. And like for me, that was like, holy shit. So one of the movies I have like a predilection to that he and I both share is we love the Friday the 13th franchise, which kind of makes me wonder about like the staying power of like, you know, there's always the question of like people ask you, why do you like horror movies? Why do you like those goofy movies? Why do you like that movie? We kind of talked about last episode where I feel like there's a lot of people who will watch like slasher movies and they're kind of like, well, here's the thing, you know, I understand that character. Like for me, Jason's a kind of a sympathetic character, which you can go back to Freddy versus Jason. Ronnie, you made him the sympathetic character in that movie, which whatever bitch or whine or complain most people have about that, it's like, well, you know, we kind of know what made him. Like he got screwed from birth. His mom fucked him up. He loved his mom. He wanted to, like, he was tortured into that place. I know a lot of people, when Betsy Palmer, who played Jason's mom in those movies, would ask people at conventions, why do you like this character? Why do you love her so much? She's a horrendous, horrible person. And fans would go to her and be like, because we understand why she did what she did. And so for me, with my buddy who's such a slasher fan and his survival instinct, it makes me wonder of like the cognitive, spiritual, and like process of, I watch these slashers overcome everything and they're like so just invincible. Does that in itself instill that in you when you watch those movies and worship them to the point where like you feel like you're invincible?
I definitely think so, yeah.
And that was kind of something that really hit me this week where I was like, holy shit, like that's a whole new perspective that I had like watching these movies where I'm like, is that like, because oftentimes I wonder, I have a lot of friends that have passed that aren't necessarily in the horror movies. And like, for me, I've always had that staying power of like, I want to keep going. I want to keep striving and working towards stuff. Do I make myself mentally invincible that way by like reveling in these movies and seeing those characters do that? Not necessarily like the bloodbath part, but like they never die.
Yeah.
They keep going. And so that was kind of like, I wouldn't even say one movie, my franchise this week that did it for me.
Can I ask you why you chose Freddy the 13th and not Freddy Krueger? Because there's already a Freddy in horror.
So I don't know. I've always had like a love for Jason that I couldn't explain. Like even when I was younger, I had like I would have nightmares about Jason. I would never have nightmares about Freddy. And
even though he's the nightmare demon.
I know, but like for me, it's like, I think it's also because of like how comedic Freddy became eventually. I would have nightmares where Jason's just like going after me. And I have very cinematic nightmares where like I see the camera angles and shit like that. It was almost like In a Violent Nature, that movie where you're like watching just him walking and shit like that. And that's ridiculous when you see it on the screen. But in your dreams, when you're living that and you're feeling that dread, that's fucking horrifying. Yeah. I don't know. Like Friday the 13th is always a holiday too that like whenever it comes around, I get a bunch of friends together and we fucking watch the marathon, drink, and have fun. Not only is that like something that stays with me that instills so much just joy in me of like getting your friends together and just like having fun with all these absurd ass characters that are being hacked to pieces by like an incredibly absurd villain that like has a great dramatic background. That's, I don't know, something about that just speaks to me so much.
Yeah.
What is yours this week?
So I was thinking about a topic that I wanted to, I guess, delve into as far as mental health goes, because I do have anxiety. And what comes with that is that I have had, since childhood, I dissociate bad. And now I'm going to probably get a lot of shit for saying this, but it's kind of a trend now to say that you disassociate or that you have derealization. I like actually have derealization. So I was trying to think of what movies kind of, I guess, resonate with that or are a good representation of that, depicting disassociation. And I came up with a few. So one, you were talking about resonating with a character, The Black Swan, or just Black Swan,
yeah.
Darren Aronofsky. I loved that movie in high school. It was one of my favorites. It's in my top 4. One, I grew up dancing and I was an actor. So
You were like all up in it then.
So yeah, I like really, really loved Natalie Portman's character and her like strive, her obsession with being perfect. That's my entire life. Like that's how I felt with my relationship with my parents, having to be perfect all the time. And then also her kind of coming up with this fantasy world in her own life because of her anxiety instilled by her parents. I am Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman is me. Like through and through.
That's interesting you say that because like I can't say that like I directly disassociate or anything like that because I don't feel like I have the right to say that in any way. But it's like I do understand that like creating that fantasy world because sometimes like when I'm at my lowest, what I'll do is like and that's how I write a lot too, is like I'll be doing a monotonous task. Sometimes I'll be reading or like just listening to music or a podcast. And I've like got an entire scene in my head. And sometimes it's about stuff that's like wish fulfillment for me. But other times it's like something that I just like wish would happen and I want to see in a movie. And that's like how I write.
Yeah.
And like you create your own worlds that
Yeah.
way. You will forget what's going on in front of you.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. And it's really frustrating trying to explain to people how that actually affects someone because, yes, in some way it does feel like just zoning out. In other ways, there's another movie that like physically represents it to me, and that would be Enter the Void, which isn't really horror. Have you heard of Enter the Void? I wouldn't even say that it's horror. It's probably horror adjacent.
What's
like
the
psychedelic?
What's
maybe?
the premise? I think I know it.
Oh God, there's this guy tripping on DMT. It's from like his point of view. It's first person and it's entirely shot that way. So you're watching him trip and then, spoiler alert, you watch him die. So mostly the beginning of it, him like looking at his hands and shit, that's totally what derealization feels like.
That feels like this Panos Cosmatos movie, which Panos Cosmatos is the dude who did Mandy, but his first movie is Beyond the Black Rainbow, and it's like the biggest acid trip ever. Like it's just him like freaking out the whole time, and you're not really sure what is real and what isn't. I still don't know what the fuck happened in that movie. Right. Like
that's exactly what this one feels like. It's just a bunch of shit. Just a bunch of shit.
Shit just keeps happening.
All right. Summer horror.
Yes. Okay. So we're in the summer, obviously. We have gone beyond July the 4th. It is officially the next holiday is motherfucking Halloween. That is the season that I need. It's colder for my fat ass. It is so nice looking, aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. Is just the auburn and orange colors and shit like that.
Every single message that I get from Freddy on Instagram is just a bunch of horror Halloween.
I'm like, it's
shit.
coming.
Yeah.
They're coming to take me away. I'm so ready. But with that being said, Mary and I were talking about doing like a little activity here today while we talk about our favorite summer horror movies. So we have watermelons. Yeah. And we have little jack-o'-lantern faces we put on them. Yes. You probably can't see mine because it's crappy. We're going to cut these up into watermelon jack-o'-lanterns while we talk about our favorite summer horrors and have delicious treats because it's hot as balls. Yes. All right, Mary, would you like to take the first stab with these colorful knives?
Yeah. Look how fucking pretty. I don't even think... Can you see that? Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. That's so dope. Oh God, are you going from the bottom or are you going from the top?
Oh fuck, I gotta take the head
They don't
off.
have a...
Yeah, it's kind of harder.
A thing like a pumpkin, so...
All right.
Okay.
Let's take that first stab.
Oh. I want that in slow-mo.
Look at that blood come out of mine, though. Like, holy shit.
Oh, you're like...
Oh, God, it squirted me. I'm killing...
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Why is yours not bleeding?
Because I feel like you're, like, going for it. Oh,
I
shit.
mean, I've been talking about Jason Voorhees.
This feels a little cathartic.
Oh!
How'd you get it out? Oh, no.
Oh, my God. There's murder.
Can I get assistance?
I don't think you're... Mary, you need to go like this. Oh, you got it.
Don't zoom in on that. That was a straight shot. Like, for real.
I'm talking about blood. You're talking about shots. Jesus.
That's what that looked like.
Speaking of shots, my boss looked like the fucking Violator from Spawn, and there's a scene from Ash vs. Evil Dead where when his boss turns into a Deadeye and he like keeps stabbing him with a bottle, and I'm like, let's fucking go. Very cathartic. But also speaking of shots, because you can't talk about like summer horror without shots. That's what it is, mostly trying to get laid.
This is gonna be completely cut out.
Yeah, cut all of that.
We should
Can't just say shot over and over and over again, Freddy.
We're a horror show, dude.
Are you not gonna empty it like we said we were?
I'm gonna try and cut the eyeball first. See what happens.
Maybe this wasn't a good idea.
I mean, mine's working.
Anyway, summer horror. When you hear summer horror, what's the very first movie that comes to mind, Freddie?
You know, I feel like I think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre immediately.
I can see that.
Because that's even like the opening of it's all like one summer in Texas, and I'm like, oh shit.
I feel like you can feel the heat, and by heat I mean like in Texas specifically.
Yeah,
The
how like
dirt
gross
in
it
the
is.
air. Yeah, not even like humid. Like I can't even explain Texas heat if you've never been to Texas. Like gross dirt.
You feel like you're constantly sweating. But no, yeah, even that like opening shot with the skeleton on the tombstone for Texas Chainsaw, like it just like evokes the summer and like a bunch of youths just trying to, you know, like have a good time. We're going to the watering hole and the slaughterhouse is there and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh boy, what a great Texas summer. And then you get into it and you're like, Jesus Christ, these kids are screwed, man.
You know, it took me forever to realize that it's not actually
a real story.
Yeah. I think last year I found out that it's not actually a real story. It's like based on what, Ed Gein or whatever.
Yeah, it's like heavily Ed Gein based, but also I'm like trying to remember it's Ed Gein and someone else, but like mostly Ed Gein. Oh my God.
You got the whole thing. You're already done.
No, I just gotta get my nosy in my mouth. But yeah, what's one for you? Because like honestly, Texas Chainsaw is also like one of my favorite movies. I also think it's kind of a perfect movie. I love Tobe Hooper. I love when he did Poltergeist and a couple of other movies of his I really like. But like nothing just matches Texas Chainsaw. What do you go with when you think summer horror?
I'm gonna be real, and it's recent, and I don't know why I think about this, but Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, mostly because so last year I was living in LA around this time, and there was a hurricane.
Oh shit.
So we had a tropical storm, and all I could think about was watching Bodies, Bodies, Bodies because they have this hurricane
the storm
party.
in the
movie?
movie?
Yes. We had a hurricane and then an earthquake in the same like 3 hours, and it was my
Jesus.
first time feeling an earthquake. The entire apartment shook. I thought someone ran their car into the building. My roommates, they're from San Diego, so they're used to it.
Yeah, they're like whatever. You're
they were
only
like,
used to twisters.
Did someone say something? I was like, did you not? The whole couch moves like a full foot. But yeah, I think about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies for sure. I don't know why.
What a strange one for summer though. Like
why?
Like
you're by the pool and you're with your friends. I guess that's like how I spent my summers. Like when I first became an adult was like getting drunk with a bunch of friends.
Oh no, I totally was too, but I was at a lake most of the time. So I think that's why it's like more Texas Chainsaw for me. Mm-hmm. Whereas like, I don't know, the only thing with Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is the majority of that movie is like set into the darkness of a storm.
Oh, I got it.
Hell yeah. We're gonna have so many snacks.
You're gonna have like watermelon puree.
I'm so ready for it, honestly. That is the one thing I kind of wish like you could do summer snacks during Halloween. You know what I mean?
What's a summer snack?
I mean, watermelon, for example, which I guess we are kind of doing a summer snack for Halloween in this instance. But, like, I don't know, like, you know, the kind of, like...
Am I making y'all nervous?
A little bit.
Okay.
I think I'm done.
I know you're done. Oh, it came out!
Hell yeah. Yours looks nicer than mine, though. Look,
I'm trying to do, like, a traditional little pumpkin. Oh, I thought you were, eating the skin.
No, it's my vampire fangs.
Cute. Oh, you know what I really wanted to talk about? What's your thought on the original It? Because a big summer movie for me is the new ones. Those were my go-tos, especially It Chapter 2. They're just gorgeous.
I do like Andy Muschietti quite a bit. Like, I really liked Mama when that came out. I thought it was an interesting-ass movie. I also think that's something we should talk about in a future episode when we talk about, like, because I feel like we both have mama drama.
And no, I love my mommy, but I do have daddy issues, so that counts.
Hey, man, parental drama either way.
Get out.
A lot of people love the Tim Curry It. I think Tim Curry's awesome. I'm not really that fond of everything else in that miniseries.
Neither am I. And I used to tell people that I thought the original was better, but that was at a point in time where I hadn't seen the original since childhood.
So you had like that reverence for it as a kid.
Yeah, where I'm like remembering how scared I was, not necessarily what the movie actually looked like. And I can understand why people would think that the Tim Curry Pennywise is a lot scarier. He's scarier in the way of like, this is a creepy man in a clown costume, like kidnapping children. That's scary.
Yeah.
But Skarsgård's, his Pennywise is scary in like a supernatural way.
I didn't really like the Skarsgård Pennywise until I actually saw the movie, because I feel like at that time frame, there were so many like horror movies, especially remakes, trying to come out that were like, if we make them dirty looking like they've been stuck in a sewer for years and they don't know how to do dry cleaning, they'll look scary as shit. And I remember someone arguing me like, well, Pennywise is in a sewer. And I'm like, but he's a supernatural being. Why the hell would he have dirty clothes? That's why I thought the Tim Curry one was much scarier, because this dude in bright ass clothes and balloons like, I'm coming to get you, Georgie. And, you know, I was just like, that's more terrifying. But then when I saw Bill Skarsgård's performance, I was like, holy shit, this is it. Literally, this is it.
Yeah. What do you think about the changes that they made to it? I have like some opinions.
I want to hear those, because I feel like we're going to have the same opinions, honestly. Because I don't think we need a gangbang in the sewer, personally.
Oh, from the book?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree about that. They didn't put that in either of the movies, though.
I mean, it's not like you could put that in the
damn you shouldn't.
Miniseries
that shouldn't even be in the book.
Yeah.
Loss of innocence because they were traumatized by a otherworldly, scary being, not because Beverly needs to be a... Yeah. Anyway, that's weird.
He's got a big-ass nose.
I'm trying so hard. What the fuck is going on with Ben's backstory? Have you noticed this? Okay. The reason why Ben and Beverly even like sort of like each other is because they have similar backgrounds. Like in the original movie, Ben has this kind of horrible home life where he's living with his mom, but they have to go move in with her sister.
That's
so
right.
he's like already being abused by his aunt and his cousin. So he gravitates towards Beverly because she is also being abused.
Yeah.
So they like share that in common, and that's why they like each other. Sort of. They're like trauma bonding. They're all trauma bonding, but especially them. I also don't understand why in the new one, he's the one that's obsessed with dairy, and then he's not the one who stays. Like, why?
Yeah, when they changed Mike Hanlon a bit like that, it was like, well, now I'm the one that's like figuring everything out. I was like, Mike was already the historian in the original and the book, so I'm like, what a weird thing to do.
I don't understand why they didn't make him more interested in it as a kid in the remake.
Yeah.
Because in the remake, he's more like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. But then he stays and he becomes obsessed with the town, but he never showed interest in it.
Yeah.
Ben did. That makes no fucking sense to me. No sense. Why does that even exist? I don't get it.
The part one was already always going to be a better version, because like so many people, including Stephen King, talk about how like the second part doesn't work as well, and even to the point where Stephen King shows up and makes fun of it himself in that cameo where he's telling Bill, yeah, I like all your books, except the endings. They're terrible. And I'm like, damn, dude. He's just like, I see you, America.
That's what I thought the first time that I watched it, chapter 2, because I saw it in the theater. And I remember thinking there really isn't a way that you can do a part 2 of it because it's happening simultaneously throughout the book. Like, I think a third of the book is just the phone calls.
Well, yeah, it's
so
back
there's
and
no
forth.
way that you could do.
That is something I kind of do, like, upon retrospect, like more in the original, is like you are watching it kind of all happen simultaneously. And so you're getting the kids' stories after, like, those phone calls between Mike and the Losers Club. And that kind of, like, gives it a little more, I feel like, of like, okay, this is what's going down and this is where they are right now. And you're immediate with it. It wasn't the same in the remake, but I do love, I will say, Seth Green in the original. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
As oh my God, Richie, yeah, like beep beep Richie, and then we have Bill Hader in the remake. I do like both of those castings for the time periods of like who those character actors are and were. That's kind of perfect.
Did you know that Finn Wolfhard's the reason that he got that role?
Really?
Yeah, he said something about wanting it, or Finn wanted him specifically.
He had
and
that
then vouched
Stranger
for
Things
him.
pull.
No, for real.
How's yours coming along?
I think I got it.
Hell yeah. Well, all of our beloved fans, here we have our Summerween watermelons. Oh, shit, you have a top. I don't have a top.
I do have a top. What happened to your top?
I ate mine.
I mean, I ate mine too. Oh, where is
Oh, hell, wait. Nah, I just ate that part. There we go.
The knife away from me.
And
Yay.
then, yay. And
Cute.
then mine's got
Cute.
a nose.
Cute.
So that is a good way to spend your summer waiting for Halloween. Honestly, at this point, speaking of like good mental therapy for yourself, if you're horror fans like us, personally, once July 5th hits, I'm usually breaking out my Halloween decorations. So pretty soon, I'm probably going to put up my Halloween lights and like just some stuff here and there. It's a slow process that I think really does my soul good, where like I start seeing that color pop up throughout the house.
Yeah.
And you just get a little bit here and a little bit there. So each week leading up to Halloween, you can put something different up. Like that could be a cool thing. And you know, honestly, we should put it to our listeners and viewers that they should start doing that and send us pictures of what their decorations look like.
I would love to see that.
Yes.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
each episode we can put up something different that we've put up in our houses. And we are talking about at some point going out and doing a video of purchasing some Halloween stuff.
Yes.
So that should be cool. All right, Mary, final thoughts on how to continue your week the right way, the Halloween way.
The Halloween way. Please watch Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, we are going to have an episode on that scene. Honestly, Mary and I have talked about so many different subjects we're going to do. And like me, I have like notes on stuff. And we didn't even get to talk about what we watched on the 4th of July, but I do have a whole thing on that I do feel like we should save for a later episode. Like I said, guys, if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, share, comment, and send us some photos on what you do to prep for Halloween. I'm Freddy the 13th.
I am Bloody Mary.
And this has been Terrorpy.